Happy Father's Day, Fresh Coast Gaming fans. Due to some unforeseen card trouble, Oscar and I weren't able to make it over to Gamer Sanctuary today, but when you've got a table of your own at home and a built-in opponent, you never have you're never lost for a game. So we've decided we're going to do something cool today. We're going to debut Oscar's new army. We've been collecting and building it over the last couple months. This is my summer painting project. Oscar is going to be joining the rest of the Fresh Coast crew in building a Horus Heresy 30k Space Marine Legion. What did we choose, Oscar?
Raven Guard.
Raven Guard. So we've got Death Guard for me, Raven Guard for him. We're actually going to be doing a fitting Father's Day battle, father versus son. We have both the Primarchs in our army. We have Corax versus Mortarion and a whole bunch of their boys hanging out with them. We're both using Rights of War, that the Legion-specific Rights of War for our guys, Decapitation Strike and the Reaping, respectively, because that's the best way to play Heresy, guys. Use your Legion-specific stuff as much as you can because it's super fluffy. We're also debuting our new Realm of Battle table that we painted and put together a couple months ago and haven't had a chance to actually use. Some new pieces of terrain. I love the new GW crate kits, so we're going to be using those rules as well. The fire barrels are scattered around, ammo crates for the rerolls, and the supply crates, the shipping crates are actually the objective for this mission, which we'll get to that after we take a look at the armies. All right, here we have my 2,500 points of Death Guard. Of course, like I said, it's led by Mortarion. My required HQ is a Master of Signal with no upgrades. The Master of Signal is hanging out with a missile launcher heavy support squad, and Mortarion is hanging out with 3 Death Shroud Terminators with melta bombs. I have 2 tactical squads in Rhinos with Havoc launchers because they're going to be poisoned thanks to Mortarion. Please excuse the unpainted sergeants with Death Shroud power sides and melta bombs in each squad. There's also a Vox to give my Master Signal some triangulation. To round out my troop choices, I have another heavy support squad with heavy flamers. We're going to be riding in a Land Raider Achilles, which is part of a Land Raider battle squadron. There's a regular Land Raider for the Death Shroud and Mortarion as well. And the Achilles is just to truck the heavy flamers around. I like it because it's nigh unkillable, if you ask me. There's a Leviathan Dreadnought with a Grav Flux Bombard, a Siege Drill, and heavy flamers in the torso. And then my good old-fashioned standard Dorado Dreadnought with the missile launchers. So there's 2,500 points for me. Again, I apologize for it being unpainted, but we wanted to play this game for a long time. We just had enough of waiting. Everything is at least primed, and there's not a whole lot more to do for Raven Guard other than add some silver highlights and some nice spot colors. So here we have 2,500 points of Oscar's Raven Guard, led by Corvus Corax, of course. He is going to be joined by 10 Assault Marines. Sergeant has Lightning Claws and Melta Bombs, and there's 2 Plasma Pistols in the squad. Rounding out troops, we have a Tactical Squad in a drop pod back there. There are 2 squads of more Death and Strike, 2 more Death and Strike squads. 7 guys with sniper rifles. The Shade has melta bombs as well, and another one, 5 combi meltas. Shade also having melta bombs. That 5-man squad is going to be riding in the Darkwing Storm Eagle. Strike Captain Alvarex is our HQ choice. He's there to make all the deep striking stuff not scatter and give us reroll to seize as well. He's pretty sweet. This is the Raven Guard model from the Kaoyan, I believe it is, box set with a couple little bits. He's got a bolt pistol instead of the plasma pistol, and this awesome little computer thing to represent his Stratovox caster. Let's see. We have 2 Night Fury Assault squads. These are, I think, the absolute coolest looking models Forge World has ever done. Both the champions have melta bombs. This is the only model in the entire army we have painted, and this is what they're all going to look like. And I'm super happy and excited about getting the rest of them done. Oscar's behind me, like, giggling madly. These guys are super cool. We have a Contemptor Dreadnought, because everyone needs a Contemptor Dreadnought. He's got a Melta Gun and Chain Fist. He's our super armor wrecker. He's coming down in a Dreadnought drop pod. And then, because they take advantage of them in the fluff an awful lot, we have a Deathstorm drop pod with drop pod assault and crack missile upgrade. So that's going to come down first turn along with everything else and hopefully wreck some serious face. There's 2,500 points of Raven Guard. So the mission we're going to be playing is called Deadly Ground. It's out of Book 2. We each get a corner of the table to deploy on. We have to deploy half our units here, and the other half have to stay in reserve. Now for Oscar, that's pretty easy. He actually is his army's built to deploy half off the table and half on. So he actually has to deploy more than he normally would. My stuff is meant to stay on the table and not move because it's not that fast. So I'm at a little disadvantage already. The supply crates are actually objectives for the game. At the beginning of every game turn, you get 1 point for each objective you control. I believe First Blood and Warlord are also in this game. It's Warlord and Attrition are in this mission as well. The Fire Barrels we're going to actually be using the rules for them. They are going to give us Torrent to Flamer weapons, which is pretty cool. And the Ammo Crates are going to give us the rerolls to shoot with those weapons as well. Not a landing pad. Excuse me, just a regular piece of terrain. We're just calling all the bunkers ruins and whatnot. So that's it. We're going to roll off to see who gets to go first. We're going to deploy, and then Oscar's going to try to seize, if necessary, using all his Raven Guard shenanigan tricks that he gets to try to go first. One of the cool things we like about that army is that they really, really want you to go first. Decapitation Strike gets you the reroll to see if you have first turn, and then Alvarex gets you to reroll the seize. So there's lots of stuff built in to make sure you get to go first. And we will see if that happens in a minute. So here we are after deployment. I have my missile launcher heavy support squad in the woods with the Master of Signal. They are 6 inches away from that crate, so they are actually going to be scoring it. In this mission, you have to be 6 inches away from the terrain piece that represents the objective to get the points. So they are technically scoring it. The Dorado is over there in the corner getting some firing lanes towards the middle of the table to keep an eye out for any interceptor fire. I do have the first turn, so that's going to be helpful for him to get planted so he can actually go into interceptor mode. The Land Raider with Mortarion and his Death Shroud is right there. They're going to get ready to truck towards the middle objective, and so is the Leviathan. On the other end, Oscar has both of his Night Fury squads right here, hiding behind the landing pad, getting ready to jump up and over it. Corax and his Assault Marines are right here. And then he infiltrated his strike squad, the snipers, onto this objective so they can hold it because they are a scoring unit. And with their stealth, they're going to sit there with a nice 3-up cover save and lay down some sniper fire towards the middle of the board. Captain Alvarex is right here. So he's not really going to be able to take advantage a lot of his no scatter within 18 inches, but that's a lot of table with open ground. He probably won't have any worries about getting his guys exactly where he wants. So now, Oscar, if you please, get your die ready to seize that initiative because you do want to go first. That's a 2. Alvarex, go ahead and re-roll it. No. That's a 3. So I still have first turn. Alright, so the Raven Guard shenanigans didn't come into play this game. Let's see if I can take advantage of that and actually do something. Turn 1 coming up. Top of turn 1, the Dorado had a straight line of fire to the Dark Furies over here. I could see 2 of them with my missile launchers, and Oscar failed the 2-up armor save on his commander right there for his Artificer armor. So he died, and one of the others also was killed from the Ilos missile launchers. So that was good. They did make their leadership check, and they're okay. My Land Raider Achilles came on the table, and along with the Master of Signal from the missile launcher squad, managed to kill 4 of the Assault Marines, one of them with a plasma pistol, and put a wound on Corax. But they don't care because Corax is with them and they're fearless. And then I got a lucky las cannon shot to snipe out one of the more deafened snipers hiding in the window downstairs. And that's it. So that's all I could do turn 1. Like I said, they made their leadership check, and I managed to get 1 squad up close enough to grab an objective to start scoring some points. Bottom of 1 coming up. Oscar's got some reserves to make. Bottom of turn 1, Oscar's Tactical Marines in the drop pod came in and secured that objective in the middle. They just disembarked and they ran to kind of spread out. Corax gives everybody an automatic 6 for their run move when he's on the table. That's awesome. The Deathstorm drop pod, risky move, and it paid off. Could have been a little better, but I still think it's going to be a good in the long run. It got D3 shots of ballistic skill 2 against each of the 2 units within 12 inches of it, the Dorado and the heavy support squad. I had to go to ground to keep the heavy support squad alive because Oscar rolled 3 attacks with its weapons. Now it's listed, it says 3 full attacks, and it has the crack missiles, which are heavy 2. That meant 6 crack missiles coming at both of these units. Scary stuff. Even at ballistic skill 5, you guys have seen Oscar roll, ballistic skill 2 needing 5s to hit. You guys have seen how Oscar rolls needing 5s to hit with his orcs. He managed to kill 1 missile launcher. I made some cover saves, but they have gone to ground. And these guys over here, the Dorado has been stunned, so he's only snap firing next turn. He cannot move. The snipers managed to take a hull point off the Rhino, and everybody else just advanced forward using Corax's automatic 6-inch run to take cover, to hide. I do have some blast weapons, but they're kind of out of range at the moment. So we're hoping to be able to get a little closer with my tanks and do some damage. He tried to do a little shenanigan-y stuff with the Storm Eagle also to stay out of 48 inches of my Dorado's interceptor fire. He is just out right there. We are playing using the new flyer rules, and we kind of just extrapolated what we thought would be the agility of the Storm Eagle, same as the Storm Ravens 2. So Oscar tried to make an agility check to get a break turn in there to bring both las cannons to bear on the Leviathan, but he failed, so only the one that left wing las cannon was able to shoot the Leviathan. He hit it, glanced it, but I made my invuln save. Top of turn 2 coming up. Let's see if my last reserves come on. So the beginning of turn 2 actually begins with scoring these crates. Oscar has one with the Tactical Marines here, and one with his snipers here for 2 points, and I have one with my heavy support squad, which is a scoring unit in my Rite of War for that one right there. So I have 1 point, Oscar has 2, so he's leading 2-1. Top of turn 2, my other Rhino came on and actually just swapped places with the one that moved forward. The Leviathan moved forward as well. They couldn't move because they were either gone to ground or shaken. Stunned, excuse me. And then my Land Raiders kind of came forward in the middle. The Death Shroud and Mortarion got out and split up. Death Shroud came over here to try to assault the drop pod and failed. I did knock off 2 hull points with las cannons from the Land Raider. Mortarion swung around this way, and after widowing down some of the Tactical Marines with barrage fire from the quad mortar, havoc launcher fire, a couple bolter shots, Mortarion charged in there and killed 4 of the Marines in combat, and then ran the other 3 off the table. Because there is no, and they shall know no fear in 30k. So now he's chilling by himself on top of that crate. He can't hold the objective because he's not a scoring unit. The Death Shroud are actually close enough to score it on their own, though. So if Oscar doesn't get anything there in the beginning or at the end of his turn, I will score that one too. But the funniest thing that happened was the Grav Flux Bombard tried to shoot the Tactical Marines down here. Missed, scattered all the way back, hit my Rhino, and I rolled ridiculously high on all the dice to blow it up. And sure enough, thanks to the double hull point thing that the Grav Flux Bombard has, it is destroyed. Oh yeah, I should leave this template right here where it was too. That's now dangerous terrain as well. I did manage to get a lucky snipe shot on the Dark Furies over here with one of my Dreadnought missile launcher, the Ilos missile launcher shots, and killed him. That was good. And that's it. So Oscar's got his reserves to make, and bottom of turn 2 coming up. Bottom of turn 2, the Dreadnought drop pod failed to come in again. So Oscar was kind of left on his own, but he did pretty well. The Storm Eagle came around and shot at the Leviathan with his las cannons, and he failed to pen it. Then the Eclipse missiles shot my heavy weapons squad and concussed them, but they're okay. So it's just initiative 1. Nothing too bad. They're not planning on getting in a fight anytime soon. The Death Storm drop pod, though, on the other hand, stunned the Dorado again and took a hull point off the Leviathan. Because it's now firing at full ballistics, full range with its 5 crack missile launchers that are heavy too. Only 2 of them actually had targets, so the other 3 are facing in the corner, which is the problem deploying it that way. But you know what? It's still been worth it so far. The 2 Dark Furies who are here charged at the Death Shroud, managed to kill 1 in combat, which was pretty cool, but then they got cut down by powered sides in return. The Assault Squad and the Snipers combined to take 2 wounds off Mortarion, and then, they took 1 wound off, and Corax vector struck him for another wound, and then turned around and charged him on top of the crate. So we have this epic Primarch battle going on top of the storage crate objective, which is exactly what we wanted. It's super cool. Over here, the Dark Furies charged at the tactical squad, lost 1 to Overwatch, but then ripped through them completely. They didn't even. Only 3 of them actually needed to attack. It was nuts. Oscar had great luck with Shred and Mastercrafted, getting tons of hits, tons of wounds, and killing all my tactical Marines. They are kind of out in the open now, which is bad for them. But if the Leviathan manages to take them out, then more Death and Strike Squad guys in there are going to get some revenge, because I'm going to have a hard time bringing that Storm Eagle down. That's it. That was the end of turn 2. Scoring, I still have 1 point here. Oscar has 1 point here, and this one is now contested because the Assault Marines and the Death Shroud are both scoring units. So we're going to try to clear out that drop pod, get the Assault Marines, or get the Death Shroud into combat with the Assault Marines, and hopefully kill them off. Top of turn 3 coming up. All right, bottom of turn 3. The fight on the crate is over. Mortarion and Corax each did a wound to each other. Then Corax did his hit and run move and was running this way to go kill my scoring unit back there. Meanwhile, Mortarion comes this way. The Dreadnought shot at, scattered the heck out of the Grav Bombard again, way into the ruins, but then managed to kill 2 with Heavy Flamers, and then charged and finished off the Dark Fury squad here. So he's getting ready to face some more Death and Melta-Guns coming out of the Storm Eagle, which is jinking, and didn't take any damage from the snap-firing Land Raider and the snap-firing Dorado. The crack missiles turned around and blew up the Deathstorm drop pod, and then the multi-meltas here blew up this drop pod. Heavy Flamers got out so that they can torrent next turn, because we're using the barrel rules from the new terrain expansion. And then the assault squad, I charged in them with my Death Shroud Terminators, lost a wound in Overwatch, and then the sergeant killed one of my Death Shroud with his lightning claws. Did manage to kill 2, and the fight is still going on right here. They draw. Oh, and these guys had to go to ground to prevent some wounds from the quad mortar on the Land Raider, and they didn't lose anybody, but they're going to be snap firing next turn. Turn 4 coming on. Oscar has a Dreadnought and a drop pod to put down somewhere. Where does he go with him? Bottom of turn 3, Oscar went for a true decapitation strike, as the Rite of War is named. Corax jumped right back over here. The Mordethan jumped out and kind of got right in the face of the Leviathan, and then the Contemptor got right out here in front of Mortarion. Everything over here except for the Mordethan shot at Mortarion and did nothing. The Mordethan blew up the Leviathan in spectacular fashion. 5 penetrating hits. I only saved 2 of them with his invulnerable. Kaboom! That was about it, though. Nothing else happened. My Dorado is not stunned anymore. Cool. Oscar did nothing to the Death Shroud, and they lost with an Assault Marine in return. But Corax was a boss. He took used his special attacks. He has 3 different options. He used the option that gives him a strength buff, so that he was wounding Mortarion on 2s, especially on the charge, and dropped him down to 1 wound, almost killed him. Decapitation Strike is actually coming into play a lot against Mortarion. He's rerolling 1s to hit and 1s to wound with preferred enemy, and it's really been paying off. So that's it.
I also need to roll to see if he heals.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see if Corax gets a wound back. Go ahead and roll that on camera. He does not. So right now, and I failed to do anything to him. I failed to actually wound Corax in return. So at this point, we're gonna start turn 4. I'm holding 1 point here. This one is still contested, and Oscar's got 1 point there. So it's going to be Oscar has 4 points now, and I have 3. Turn 4 coming up. That could have gone a lot better for me this turn. Let me just say nothing positive happened. First, we actually made a mistake with the fight with Mortarion and Corax. There is no strength buff. There's an ability that gives you a +3 to armor pen, which I mistook as a +3 strength. It means it just says you automatically wound on 5s. So we actually refought the entire round of combat using the extra D3 attacks from Corax instead, and of course Oscar gets 3 more attacks, and the net result is the same thing. He did 3 wounds to Mortarion, and that I didn't save. So Mortarion was at 1 wound, Corax was at 4. The fight started. Actually, let me go back to the rest of the turn. Land Raider turned to move this way. This one came in here. The Heavy Flamer guys jumped back in because they are a scoring unit. They want to get a little closer. The Rhino came around here to push at this objective at the end, towards the end game, and the Dorado moved up also to shoot at the Storm Eagle. And then everything unloaded on it. Didn't need to snap fire. And I completely failed to hit. I rolled nothing but 1s and 2s on all my hit rolls for just about everything. And then the only stuff that actually got through on it was the Dorado's autocannons, and Oscar jinked it with his stealth jink save. Even the crack missiles here shot at it and did nothing. So, untouched Storm Eagle. I had to completely ignore the Mordethan, which was terrible. The fight over here, I whiffed badly with my Death Shroud. He managed to do a wound, and then I broke and ran. Fortunately, he didn't run me down, so I'm going to have to try to regroup him and get him back in the fight. And my two twin-leg multi-meltas failed to even touch the Contemptor right here. So I'm feeling pretty bad about that turn. That was top of 4. I gave up Warlord, and Oscar now is going to hold 2 objectives from me, and that's bad. So bottom of 4, Oscar's going to just try to collect some more points. So, bottom of turn 4, Corax charges in here, and he shakes my Land Raider. Also does a glancing hit. The Mortarion, the Dreadnought, and the Snipers combine to blow up the Rhino, and then the Dreadnought charges in and kills the remainder of the Tactical Marines all by himself in combat. Actually, killed 2 of them. They broke, even though they were stubborn. I rolled badly, and then were dead. They ran them off the table. So, all I have left, I got the Land Raiders, and my backfield's intact, but I'm not happy about that. So we're going to move into turn 5. Right now, Oscar has 7 points at the beginning of turn 5 because he gets these 2 again, and I have that 1. So 7-4. Oscar also has Warlord. All right, moving into turn 5. All right, so this game is getting super interesting. Both my Land Raiders pivoted on the spot. The Heavy Flamers passed their leadership check last turn when they were when the tank was shaken, so they were able to jump out and torch the 2 Assault Marines. Now, I still had to snap fire against Corax with the multi-melta, but I got 1 hit. And then the 2 las cannons hit, combined to take off 3 wounds right there. Heavy bolters did nothing. Autocannons did nothing. I had to wait for the Ilos missile launchers, and Oscar got that lucky, tasty one for me to finish off Corax, and he went down and giving me a Warlord point. So right now it's 7-5. The way this mission scores, it says you score at the beginning of the turn and the game ends after turn 5. We're actually going to score once at the end of the game also, because I think that's the way it's supposed to be, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. Turn 5 would be you score your points at the beginning and then nothing else is relevant. So I think that's the way it's supposed to end up, is that you score at turn 6 but don't play out turn 6. My missile launchers had a wing and a prayer shot at the Dreadnought and did nothing, by the way. And that's it. So that was the top of 5. If I could hold on to those 2 objectives somehow, and he's guaranteed to hold that one, I can force a tie in this scenario if, and I think I've killed more of his units than he has of mine. So right now, like I said, it's 7-5. I get 2 points, he'd get 1, which would give 8-7, and I believe I've got more units killed than him. So he's got to try to knock me off of here in the bottom of turn 5. Let's see if he can do it. All right, so for one thing, I'm bad at counting, and I'm also bad at remembering that Oscar has a Storm Eagle that flew off the table in reserve. So it came on. The Dreadnought, the Storm Eagle, and the Snipers wiped out all 5 of my Heavy Flamer guys. The Mortarion ran in just to grab the objective cleanly, because they are objective secured. Thank you, Forge World FAQ. Oscar even had a las cannon left over here to shoot at the Achilles. Did nothing to it, though, which gave him, at the end of the game, 2 more points for objective. So Oscar had 7 victory points just on Primary and Warlord. I got another one. So my Primary and Warlord, I had 6 total. So he's got 9. Right now it's 9-6. And then we totaled up the units. We each had 13 to start. Oscar is left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's 6 for his captain. And I'm left with 1, 2, 3 for my Master Signal, 4, and 5. Oscar actually won on attrition as well, so he has 10 victory points to my 5. 10 VP to my 5, so that's a victory for the Raven Guard in their first battle ever. Oscar, what do you think about that?
Victory Cheeto.
He's got a victory Cheeto right there. He's all Captain Morgan style. What do you think about the Raven Guard, though?
I like
Mouthing around the cheetah. Play different from your orcs? What's the biggest difference?
They can jump around like a boss.
Yeah, the way this list is built with all the jump packs, it's super fast and mobile. Drop pods like crazy, right? What about ballistic skill?
Yeah.
He's like, wait a minute, I hit on 3s? Huh? That was crazy. He wasn't used to that. And then when his Mortarion squad shoots and the Contemptor shoots, he's like hitting on 2s, and he was not used to any of that shenanigan goodness.
Especially with the drop pods. Like, I'm not used to
drop pods. They
everything coming on first.
Drop pods are an art form, and you're going to get the hang of that eventually. Using them to roadblock, and we didn't play the current draft FAQ rules where drop pod's entire footprint is considered part of the model. I think that's a little ridiculous. Just the frame. We were just using the hull, just like always. The doors don't count as part of the model when they're open, and you don't model them closed when it lands. They all open. So yeah, it's that I think is one of the things that the community is going to convince GW to change the FAQ draft on. But yeah, so this was fun. Good game. I like my kind of armored approach. I couldn't sustain long enough against what Oscar was dropping in my face. So good game. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to me. I think the wife and the daughter ran out to go get us some pizzas or something like that. Anyway, enjoy. Thanks for watching.